In last week's video, Kevin and I went over a list of overrated tourist destinations.
Yeah, like attractions and things like that.
Yes, and it was a lot of fun. I absolutely loved reading your comments, and some of you told me places that you went and you loved. I had a few of you that told me a few places you wish you hadn't have gone, but you all really gave me great feedback. You said you enjoyed the pictures. Some of those pictures in there were actually from our vacations, and most of them were not, because we haven't visited a lot of places. But like all the pictures, I posted 3 pictures of like Stonehenge. Those all came from our daughter Ashley's trip to Stonehenge. And so if you watched that video and you saw the crowd of people around Stonehenge, that was the actual picture that Ashley took. And she wasn't up close to it because she didn't care anything about it. But I thought, well, that's a great picture to show that how many people are there. Yes, but I appreciate everyone that said they really enjoyed the video. So I had a request for this week to talk about, basically somebody said, I'm trying to plan a vacation, trying to plan where I want to go. It would be great if you listed some places that you need to see. So I looked at 2 different lists online and kind of compiled those lists, and these are places that you need to see in the United States before you die. So now, like last week, the overrated tourist attractions were places all over the world. Mm-hmm. These are...
And they're places that they're saying you shouldn't necessarily go to.
Yes.
Because they're crowded more than anything.
But hopefully you watched that video, because you're going to find this one fascinating. Because a lot of those places that we talked about last week that were overrated, you're going to hear about on this list again. And so let me tell you where I got my information. Like I said, I looked at 2 different lists. One's Fodder's must-see bucket list places to visit within the U.S. And the other one is from oyster.com, and it is places to visit before you die. And so the first place was definitely on our overrated list last week. Well, it's Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World. Now, we mentioned Disneyland several times. We did not mention this one. So yes, so it's a Disney park, but Disneyland was mentioned as overrated. This is things you must see. It says in Orlando, Florida, it says, if anything encompasses the ethos of Disney World's Magic Kingdom, it's a small world ride. That same tune represents a kind of American dream, one of a land of compromising many cultures, welcoming to all. Magic Kingdom was on both of these lists that I looked at of places you need to go before you die. And I agree with what they're saying here. Kevin and I have noticed so many times they're talking about different cultures. I've never been to a place ever before that you can look around and you see people, you hear different languages, you're seeing all different skin colors, and everybody's getting along. Everybody is there for the same reason. Everyone is happy to be there for the most part, unless you hear some crying kid. But usually
they're not usually happy. Yeah,
everybody is you're all there for one reason. You're all there to have a good time, and it's just always it's like it really is the happiest place in the world.
Yeah, I think if you like if you're traveling from somewhere else and you're coming over here, I think Walt Disney World in Florida is definitely a place to go if you enjoy like parks and rides and things like that. But don't expect it to be really like super adrenaline thrilled ride. I mean, they're just not adrenaline fueled rides for the most part.
And that's why I like it, because you don't get they're called thrill rides. To me, you don't get the thrill rides. But I tell you what, when you do pay for your park ticket, you're paying for a lot, because I think just the entertainment alone, if you're the type of person who likes to see a lot of shows, they have parades, and I mean all that's included in your park ticket. And so I think It's gone up a lot since the first time we went.
Oh,
but
yeah, a whole lot.
Yeah, so it's expensive now. But when we first went, I thought, wow, this is a great value for the money back when we first went.
Yeah, now it's not quite as much value, but if you're gonna, you just have to be willing to stand in line for some things, and there's some rides that are going to be so busy. You just got to accept that I may not be able to ride the really popular rides,
right?
Because you would waste your whole day riding 3 rides,
right?
But you're going to ride all the smaller rides,
right? Yeah. And this is specifically saying Magic Kingdom. There are other parks, and I'm hopefully we'll have some pictures for you. Any of these that we've been to ourselves, I'll try to post just random photos from our vacations throughout those. Most of these, though, will be just generic pictures because we haven't been to a lot of these places. The next one on the list is the French Quarter in New Orleans, Louisiana. It's a vibrant collage of textures, cobblestone corridors, lush courtyard gardens, and storied wrought iron balcony railings. The city has a rich history. You can shop the French market, stop in for beignets at Café du Monde, or liven things up at a rousing jazz performance at Preservation Hall. This, the French Quarter was on both of these lists. My dad's been there, and he really enjoyed himself.
I can't imagine liking that.
They went to I believe they went to a music festival.
Yeah.
And
that's exactly what he went to.
They stayed in a really nice place.
For me personally, just my personality and stuff, I don't know that I would enjoy all that. I know there's a lot of partying, especially at night.
You and I would do things, I can tell you and I would have a good time, but we would not do the traditional things that some people think of when they think of New Orleans. You and I would go to on a tour to see the historic mansions, like where Anne Rice lived, and and
I wouldn't mind sitting and listening to music and stuff. It's just when you get the drunk crowds, it's just so annoying to me that I don't want to be there really late at night,
right?
With all the people partying.
We would also, something that we would enjoy going through the cemetery, because all the cemeteries, people aren't buried. Everything is above ground.
At least the ones we've seen.
Yes, above ground, and because there's flooding. And so we would enjoy just going through the cemetery. There's different tours you can take. We would enjoy Café du Monde. We would enjoy the shopping. I can tell you at night, we would probably be in the room. Yeah. But we're in the room at other places we visit too. So I still think
we'd have fun there.
We would enjoy it.
It wouldn't be for the reasons that a lot of people
would be going for a different reason. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Times Square in New York. This was on.
Talked about that one.
We mentioned this one last week that it was overrated, but it's on this week's both of these lists of places you need to see. If you want to be thrust headlong into the frantic heart of excess consumption, spectacle, and everything unabashedly American, look no further than Times Square. You'll join enthusiastic and ecstatic tourists from every corner of the world as you walk through the blaring ads and costumed characters. And on one list, they specifically said Times Square, and on the other list, they said New York City in general. You should visit before you die. Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts. The Boston Red Sox have played at Fenway Park, the oldest Major League Baseball ballpark since 1912. This is where baseball legends such as Babe Ruth and Ted Williams stepped up to bat. This was on both lists.
That's surprising.
Things to see before you die. And if you had asked me, where is Fenway Park, I wouldn't have been able to tell you because we don't watch sports.
Where's it at?
It's in Boston, Massachusetts. Now, I think Boston would be an awesome place to, and I would go. I would love to go. If somebody said, here's tickets, go. I would have a ball. But it wasn't like on my bucket list or anything.
No, anything sports related is really not.
No.
Not on my list.
Right.
Really.
Mount Rushmore was on the overrated list.
That's funny.
It's on this list. And it was on both of the lists I looked at. It is in Keystone, South Dakota. Not only is Mount Rushmore stunning in terms of its sheer scale, it's also perhaps the boldest embodiment of American ideals in existence and is without a doubt one of the best places you must visit in the U.S. It acts as a shrine to democracy chiseled in the same wild western lands that came to represent the pioneering American spirit. It's so funny they are talking this up so much, and last week it was overrated.
Well, they were saying that the thing was, you don't get that close to it.
You don't
It's
get
really
that
small.
close, right.
Yeah, you're really, really far away from it. Although I looked at pictures after we did that video, and it looked like
It's close enough.
It's close enough to where you can see
And you can zoom in.
stuff going
Yeah,
on.
it's close enough. I thought it was close enough too from the pictures Kevin saw. It has, it says...
One of those you just have to see for yourself, I guess.
The faces of 4 U.S. presidents: Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. Then, I have never heard of this place, and this was on both lists, really. Teos Pueblo in Teos, New Mexico. It says these multi-story mud and straw.
Oh, I've seen pictures of those.
Adobes have sheltered Native Americans for nearly 1,000 years and remain the largest collection of multi-story Pueblo dwellings in the nation.
Yeah.
So
it's square buildings, and they have some, I think they have like logs going through them to help support them, and then they're all like a reddish material. Yeah. I've seen pictures.
So the Teos Pueblo was on one list, and Santa Fe, New Mexico was on the other list for the Native American influence and the Pueblo style
That can be interesting,
architecture.
especially if you're into the history and the architecture.
And if you've never seen anything like that up close,
I could see that being interesting.
Pike Place Market in Seattle, Washington. This was only on one of these lists, the bucket list. In Seattle, Washington. It is a food lover's dream with many restaurants, bakeries, coffee shops, including the flagship Starbucks and more. So Starbucks was from Seattle, Washington.
Yeah, that's where they started.
Okay.
So I don't know if I guess if you're in the area, it'd be worth going, but I don't know that I would make a trip just to go there.
Just to go to food and restaurants and coffee shops.
If you were already in Seattle doing something else, then for sure go there.
Big Sur in California. Its undeveloped coastline stretches further than anywhere else in the United States. Hike the high ridges for spectacular vistas, including the 875,000 acres of wilderness in the Los Pedras National Forest, and make time to relax on the idyllic beach to spot whales and seals in the distant waters. So one list had Big Sur specifically. The other list said you should just travel, if you can, the Pacific Coast Highway. It is 659 miles, the Pacific Coast Highway, and you get apparently excellent views of Big Sur if you go that highway. The Grand Canyon was on the list last week.
I think I told you then it's worth going once.
I would go again right now.
It depends on the time of year.
And what we did was Kevin got us tickets because we were right there in Las Vegas. And Kevin got us tickets. It's a bus trip. And we got up early.
It was some kind of ranch.
Yes. We got up early and we got on this bus, and it took us to the Hoover Dam, and we got to get out real quick and take a picture of the sign, the Hoover Dam sign. And then it takes you on to the Grand Canyon, this bus trip. And then
we had lunch supplied and everything.
No, we had breakfast. We had to buy our lunch.
No, the barbecue was free.
Oh, okay. Kevin's talking about something different. We bought
fries.
Okay, we bought food at the Grand Canyon, but then you're talking about the lunch after.
Once we got back to the ranch, which was just like a couple buildings, there was barbecue.
I'll post a picture of Ashley like with a horse and stuff like that at the ranch.
It was kind of neat.
But yes, it was a barbecue lunch there.
It was part of it.
Grand Canyon. Then we have South Beach in Florida. It says it's a beautiful beach, palm trees, lots of cyclists, and people watching. That is on both lists of places to see before you die.
South Beach.
South Beach in Florida.
For a beach, I guess, but it also sounds like it's busy.
It sounds very busy.
Yeah. If you're people watching, that means it's crowded.
It's crowded. The Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. It is San Francisco, California. It is 1.7 miles long. It's an Art Deco suspension bridge connecting San Francisco and Marin County. And they said when it's windy, you can feel it sway a bit. I don't know that I would want that.
That's another one of those, don't fly there just to see that. But if you're there, definitely
It's
stop.
on both lists of things to see before you die. Las Vegas, the Las Vegas sign. I'll definitely insert some pictures of us there. It is a kitschy 50s style sign. It's an American icon becoming, it's an American icon welcoming you to the fast-paced casinos, chilled-out pools, and the water fountain at the Bellagio. And one of the lists specifically listed the sign. The other list specifically said you need to just, said you need to
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas in general, just all of Las Vegas. So, what people need to know about the sign that we didn't know? Do you remember? It is.
We were done buses. So the bus only went down so far, and then it turned around.
In 2012.
So it's been a long time ago.
Yeah.
So they were redoing that whole sign area to where it was going to be more accessible to people too.
Okay.
Like they were going to do the bus was going to go down to the sign at some point in time. So it probably does now.
It probably does, yeah.
When we did it, we got off at the very last stop the bus made close to the sign, and we still walked.
A long.
It seemed like it was 2 miles.
And let me just say, we are the very intelligent people who went to Las Vegas in July.
That's your dad's fault.
We went in July, and we came up with the place to go.
I know, but he was the one that came up with the idea of let's go somewhere.
But he wanted. Yeah, but it wasn't his fault. I mean, I'm glad we went. I would go again. I'm grateful.
But it was very hot. Of course, it's going to be hot in Las Vegas no matter what.
Dad wanted to go somewhere. And so we picked July because I was thinking that we were both thinking, it looks like everything's right next to each other. All these hotels are right next to each other. And you can walk from one to the other. And
you can.
It's so easy. It's miles. Yeah. It is miles.
You can walk from one to the other. It's just going to take you a while.
And it was July. So when Kevin tells you we got off that bus at the last stop and we started walking, my dad gave up.
Yeah, he said, I'm going to sit at this drugstore. You can pick me up on the way back.
Yes. He couldn't. He was like sweating. He could not make it down to that sign. So when you see pictures of us and it's just me and Kevin and Ashley, that's because Dad, we had to meet him.
Remember that was before Ubers and all that stuff. Nowadays, if they didn't go down there with the bus, you could just get in a car and go down there and go back.
Yes, but I tell you something they were missing out on, at least back when we went. There was nobody there to take your picture. We said at the time, somebody could have made a lot of money if they had stood there with their camera and they would, or you could pay them to just take pictures all day because there was nobody there. It was basically tourists taking pictures of other tourists. And that's what we did because nobody was there to take your picture. And there were a lot of people down there getting pictures with the sign. They
could have even charged a couple bucks and made tons of
That's
money.
what I'm saying. They could have charged you, here, give me $2 and I'll take your picture. People would do it because you're desperate for somebody to take your picture next to the sign.
And somebody trustworthy that's not going to grab your camera and run.
Yes, exactly. The Thomas Jefferson Memorial in Washington, D.C. Author of the Declaration of Independence, our third president, and a visionary founding father, Jefferson and his memorial are icons of the American spirit. Go during D.C.'s cherry blossom season in the spring for an extra stunning view.
Yeah,
and so that one list said specifically the Thomas Jefferson Memorial. The other list said Washington, D.C. in general.
What the Thomas Jefferson Memorial looks like.
It's the round one with him. It's round and It has his memorial in the middle.
Okay, I can't think of it.
You'll see. When he does the video, he'll find the
I'll put a
picture.
yeah.
Millennium Park in Chicago, Illinois. This 25-acre park is where art, music, and nature come together in one urban space. This is the one, have you ever seen the Big Bang?
Yeah.
That's where that's at.
Yeah.
The Hollywood sign in Los Angeles was on last week's overrated list. It's on this week. Things
I think
to
that's just
say.
because it's an icon. It's like it's been around.
It says, although the sign was originally used as an advertisement for housing development back in 1923, over the years, the 50-foot bold letters of the Hollywood sign have become the unexpected symbols of American ambition and glamour. The 6-mile Brush Canyon Trail puts you behind the sign for a great perspective of the city, but it's still highly illegal to get too close to the sign. So one list named the Hollywood sign specifically. The other list said you should visit Griffith Observatory in California. And if you go to the observatory, you can get views of the Hollywood sign from the observatory. Okay. Grand Central Terminal in New York, New York. Grand Central is one of the world's largest, busiest, and most beautiful stations. Chandeliers glimmer in the waiting room, while in the cavernous main concourse, sleek marble walls support robin's egg blue ceiling that twinkles. I would love to see Grand Central Station.
Yeah, I think if you were there, definitely stop in and look at it for sure.
It's one of those things, if you're going to New York, you would have your whole list of New York.
Yeah,
you know,
places you want to go.
Yes, and that would be one of them.
Just like if you're in London, you want to go to Paddington Station, and there's certain ones you want to go to.
Yes. This says Portland Head Light in Portland, Maine. It says George Washington commissioned the Portland Head Light in 1790 to tower over the keeper's quarters in Fort Williams Park and beckon ships to land. It's a lighthouse. That was on both lists. The Portland Head Light was on one list. Acadia National Park is 160 miles from Portland. It was on the other list. So if you go to that area of Maine, I think Maine's a good place if you want to go to lighthouse hopping. That would be fun.
Or get seafood. Fresh
Would
seafood.
you ever want to go see the different lighthouses?
Maybe. I don't know.
And climb to the top of every one?
No, definitely not that. Some of them you can't climb. Some of them you can't even go in. You just have to see them outside. I think the food would be good, except I don't want lobster.
He did that on the cruise.
Don't really want shrimp. Don't really want. I mean, I guess there's some other things I could eat besides that, but I just know that that's the big things is seafood. So you can get fresh seafood, but I just wouldn't want lobster and stuff.
Right. You've had your fill.
Shellfish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not my thing.
Anything deep fried, I'll take.
Well, I'm thinking they probably have fish, like regular fish too. But yeah, you can fry me up some fish. I'll eat that anytime.
Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. This mountain range reaches 13,775 feet in elevation with 8 peaks also rising above 12,000 feet. It says this all-American range makes for an unforgettable and awe-inspiring landscape you don't want to miss. Well, we know Wyoming is just supposed to be absolutely gorgeous. Philadelphia City Hall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I don't know of anything else in Wyoming that I'd go. I'm trying to think of where I would go in Wyoming. I guess if you were into outdoor stuff,
yes,
you could go, kayaking and whitewater. They probably have all that kind of stuff.
Yes,
and you could see that as part of the
outdoorsy
experience.
things.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not doing that.
That's kind of what I've I've done. I look into all kinds of places just for the fun of it. And when I've looked into Canada and things across Canada, it's a lot of outdoor stuff that I would love to visit Canada, but it's just, I know we're not gonna want to go whitewater rafting or something.
They do have they have museums and stuff like that too, but a lot of it's outdoor.
A lot of it's outdoor. Wyoming seems to be that kind of place too. I agree with you. Okay, so Philadelphia City Hall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It took nearly 30 years to construct this architecturally stunning municipal building. When Philadelphia City Hall opened in 1901, the 37-foot tall bronze statue of William Penn on top made it the tallest building in America. Other buildings have since risen higher, but the City Hall remains the largest municipal building in the nation. It has more than 14.5 acres. So I had never heard of this.
Maybe if I saw a picture of it, I would know.
I did not recognize it from the picture.
Really?
I did not from the one they showed on this website. Yellowstone National Park.
In Wyoming.
In Wyoming. This was
again. That's a lot of outdoor stuff, though.
Yes. It is America's first national park, and it's home to roughly half of the entire world's population of active geysers.
Yeah.
No other...
Old Faithful. I was trying to think of the name of the geyser. Old Faithful.
Right. No other country boasts the span, depth, and width of America's national park system, and Yellowstone National Park is the crowning jewel of them all. That was on both lists of places you should see before you die.
Yeah.
Zion, I've never heard of this. Zion National Park in Springdale, Utah. It says President Woodrow Wilson first named this desert expanse a national park back in 1919, making it Utah's first national park. Today, more than 5 million people make the trek out to Zion National Park to explore this outdoor playground, and that was on both lists, and we've never heard of it. Because I know you haven't either, have you?
Doesn't sound familiar.
The Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, have you been there? You haven't.
I've been to Nashville where the Grand Ole Opry is, but I've never actually been in there to watch a show. Not that I remember.
Okay.
My mom and dad went there to Nashville all the time.
We have no pictures as proof of that he was ever there, because
that I existed.
Back then, parents didn't like to take pictures.
Yeah, there's no proof that I ever existed except for school pictures.
No, we have some pictures.
But I have very few of me.
Very, very few pictures. It's a shame.
My mom and dad were not picture people. They didn't take pictures.
So, if you didn't go to the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, what in the world did you...
Amusement park down there. Or Mom would go...
Is that in Nashville?
No, that's in Tennessee. Oh, it's in Tennessee, but that's in Gatlinburg. It wasn't Dollywood back then. It was something else.
Well, what's in Nashville?
Nashville has it's Six Flags now. It used to be something else way back when.
And that's what you went?
We would do that.
To do?
Mom took us to Conway Twitty's mansion and
did you go to Graceland?
No, we never went to Graceland. I think she's been since then, but as a child we never went there. It was just right there in Nashville area. We went to places.
Conway Twitty's mansion. That's not a place you hear a lot of people.
There was another one too, and I can't remember. There was somebody else's mansion too, and I cannot remember for the life of me what the name was.
It says the first show began in 1925 at the Grand Ole Opry. And the legacy lives on today as guests can tour behind the scenes action and even catch a live performance. And so the Grand Ole Opry specifically was on one list. Nashville in general was on the other list, that you should see Nashville. The Alamo. We teased last week about the Alamo. Some of you told me you had been to the Alamo. It says this 18th century Roman Catholic mission played a major role in defining the future of the United States. The Battle of the Alamo lasted 13 days, but the legacy of this little fortress lives on in the nation's history due to the passion and determination of men that fought within. This was on both lists that you should see it. We've been to this one, Kevin and I have. Diamond Head State Monument, Honolulu, Hawaii. We have been to Diamond Head. A hike to the top of this 300,000-year-old crater will leave you breathless.
It will.
And that's not just it's not just because of the 560 feet elevation gain within 0.8 miles. The views at the crater's peak are arguably the best in Hawaii, so much so, in fact, that they were once used as a lookout by the U.S. military to protect the island from attacks.
Yeah, they had bunkers up there.
Yes, although they now sit abandoned, bunkers from those military days still remain at the top of Diamond Head State Monument, offering a perfect platform for whale watching for humpbacks during winter months.
It's amazing how much military presence is on the island. Like, you got bunkers all over the place.
Yes.
And they said breathless. They didn't mention the 400,000 steps you have to climb to get there either.
We did a video. So, like, you were wearing the GoPro.
I was wearing it on my chest.
Yes. So we have a video. If you type in Tammy Dunn Diamond Head, if you missed it, I sped it up.
She had to.
And because we had to take a few breaks.
I had to take a few breaks. She also didn't get me freight training it through that tunnel.
Yeah, it's something. It is something.
It is pretty. Once you get up there, it is a nice view. It's a hike.
It is a hike up there.
You don't have to go. Of course, you could always stop at one level and not go any higher.
You could. But what would that challenge? That's no challenge.
That was enough challenge for me. But if you wanted to stop at the somewhat easier to reach plateau, you could.
You could.
And then you could go. Then the torturous is the end part.
I would do it again in a heartbeat, though. And some people
be like the stair machine for an hour.
Well, some people do it daily. Daily.
Yeah.
I remember hearing two people. Something you could tell that they were there, that they saw each other there all the time. And if you lived there, and we had to pay a price because we were visitors, whereas if you live there, it's like free, I think.
Yeah, if you live there.
So one list specifically said Diamond Head, another list said Oahu in general, Waikiki Beach, the Pearl Harbor National Memorial, which we went to as well in those videos. We stayed right on Waikiki Beach, and
so it's very touristy, but it's nice.
But I love it.
And I love the beach
like
and everything.
it because there's so much to do.
Yeah, because we've looked at other islands to stay on, and everything's so spread out, and there's really nothing like in that one area to do. So if you want to do anything, you'd have to get a car or rent a car and drive to those places and then come back to your hotel. That Waikiki is the only place where you can really just walk out of your hotel and walk up and down the beach and go to all kinds of places, shopping and food and everything.
Yes.
So, shows.
And I've recommended that hotel we stay at. I've recommended it to everyone.
It's really nice.
Because you literally walk out and go right across the street and there's the beach.
Yeah. And it's nice. There's some other ones that are right on the
nice.
beach that aren't quite so nice. This one was really nice.
The last place on the must-see bucket list is Garden of the Gods in Colorado Springs, Colorado. It says the vibrant red rock formations that fill this natural landmark defy geology with their monumental size and artistic shapes. It took more than 300 million years for the elements to carve out the main formations of the Garden of the Gods Visitor and Nature Center.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of that. I've never been, of course, but there's also like something of color, where you get all the different colors of sandstone and all that stuff. I can't remember what the name of that one is. Something Color Reserve.
That was not mentioned.
I can't remember.
So
that's very outdoorsy area too, though.
Oh yes,
hiking.
Yes, but it looks beautiful.
Yeah,
it really does. So those were the places that were on both lists. Some of those, but then more places to visit before you die that weren't on that first list. Niagara Falls. Now we're talking about U.S. places. So they said. Niagara Falls on the New York side. While it's more impressive from the Canadian side, you can still witness 3 waterfalls and you don't have to have a passport. If you don't have, some people don't have the money for a passport. Getting a passport isn't cheap.
Or go to the trouble.
Yeah, or go to the trouble of getting a passport. And then you can, you could still see it from the American side. The Great Smoky Mountains in Tennessee. It is the most frequented national park in America.
It's so big too. I mean, the Smoky Mountains is a pretty long
This
mountain
says
range.
Tennessee,
Oh,
specifically Tennessee.
I wonder if they're talking about, because one of the closest ones I know of is Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. That's like right there in the Smokies. So I wonder if that's what they're, Dollywood's there. I wonder if that's why they're saying that's one of the most visited.
I bet it is. It's because of Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. And
Yeah, because that's a huge tourist area.
We would go every year to Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge when I was a kid.
Yeah, when I was a kid too.
And then...
We went camping there a couple times too.
No pictures to prove you were ever there.
I know. Well, there probably were at some point in time. But.
If I have pictures, I'll look for pictures. I don't know if I have them on my computer or not, but I'll look for them.
My mom and dad were never one to carry a camera, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Ever.
And then we took Andrew and Ashley when they were little, and it was a lot of gift shops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of gift shops.
And very expensive. And it's even more expensive
and it's
now.
even, yes. And somebody left a comment last week. They said that it is so crowded and that traffic is so bad and the lines are so bad. And I said, it's funny you left me this comment because I had watched a video that showed these lines, just you wouldn't believe it, for just the most basic attractions. The lines were just like horrible, and it's just amazing how busy it's got.
I'm pretty sure Andrew and his family's been not that long ago, and he said it was very crowded.
Yeah, they stayed at a neat place. It's something was lit up at night with like all these Christmas lights or something. It was.
Well, they have a Christmas village area.
Yeah, but this was at the a hotel where they stayed. It was something special that was outside at night, and it was really neat sounding. But yeah, they did go there. Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia. It is 624 acres and houses the graves of 400,000 active duty service members, veterans, and their families. So this is something I'm just learning because I did a little investigative work about our cemetery in Lexington, about that for veterans. And I had no idea that the family could be buried there as well. So I would have never thought that Arlington National Cemetery, that they would allow the family to be buried there, because it's like, you would think it would just be for the veteran. Mm-hmm. And it's not.
Of course, you don't want the husband and the wife to be split up in two different places too. So I can understand spouses, but
yes,
not children
but
and grandchildren.
They've made it sound like they're children.
Yeah.
And so
not
it's
that
like,
you can get buried in Lexington, it's closed.
It's closed. Yeah, you can't have any more people buried there. Yeah. It's full. But it's like, how many people can fit there? You know, if you're letting Cousin Eddie, be buried here too, then, you get the whole family going. It just seems like they would run out of room quick. Mm-hmm. So it just surprised me. But what, something else, I did not know that John F. Kennedy and Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis are buried at Arlington National Cemetery. It surprises me because think about John F. Kennedy died a long time ago, and then she got remarried, and so years later, all these years later, after she died, she went back to be buried with him in Arlington. It just surprises me. And something else I learned that you probably already know. They said, they worded it, and I didn't understand the wording of it. They said Jacqueline Kennedy, they said they are interred here. So do you know what the difference? I wanted to know, what is the difference between burial and internment?
Internment like a monument, like above ground in a tomb of some kind?
Well, when I looked it up, that's what I thought too. I thought, okay, so if they're not using the word burial means you're under the ground. You're under the grass. My definition of internment, yes, would be like the mausoleum. That's internment in a mausoleum. When I did a Google search, this is what they said. They said the difference between burial and interment. Burial is the process of burying a person's non-cremated body.
Okay.
Whereas interment involves putting a person's cremated ashes in a permanent resting place.
Oh, okay.
So it's just cremated?
Just cremated.
But all those people in the mausoleum, I would have defined them being just in this building as internment rather than burial. To differentiate between the two.
Yeah, I'm just guessing at the term anyway. I've never looked it up, but that's what I would have guessed. But I would have not guessed cremation.
That you have to be to considered internment. They consider it specifically cremating. So I did not know.
Like the cemetery has a room of just urns, and that would they would be interned. They're in a permanent spot.
But I didn't know that Jacqueline Kennedy was cremated. I just didn't know that. I always think that's interesting when you hear of people getting cremated, because not everybody does that. It's not common, I don't think. Okay, another place, Freedom Trail in Boston. The trail passes through 16 historically significant locations, such as Paul Revere's house, and it is 2.5 miles long. So I think that would be really fascinating.
Especially if you're into the history.
I think that would be fascinating. Joshua Tree National Park in California. It has Joshua trees, boulders that are great for rock climbing, and opportunities for stargazing.
We went to a Joshua Tree park when we went to the Grand Canyon. Remember we drove through one? It wasn't an official national park, but they had a bunch of them.
They did. Yeah, I do remember that. The road to Hana in Maui. We've looked at this.
We looked at it. It's all outdoor stuff.
It's a 64.4. He's talking about Maui in general. It's outdoors.
It's
a lot of outdoor stuff.
Well, the road too.
The road to Hana is a 64.4 mile drive that is not for the faint of heart. It has over 600 switchbacks and 56 one-lane bridges. The speed limit is never over 25 miles an hour, though. So even though it's dangerous, you don't ever go over 25 miles an hour.
So they say.
Once there, you'll see black sand beaches and waterfalls. You won't be able to go over 25 miles an hour because it's so crowded.
It's busy.
It's very, very, very crowded. And the best, if I ever did it, I think the best way to do it would be on a tour.
Let them drive.
Red Rocks Park and Amphitheater in Colorado. It is an open-air concert and entertainment venue about 30 miles outside of Denver. The entire theater, including the seating, was built into the Red Rocks, and it's beautiful.
I'm sure I've seen pictures of it.
Yes. Horseshoe Bend in Arizona. It's where the Colorado River takes a horseshoe-shaped bend in Glen Canyon. It says it's very accessible. It's like 1.5 miles total, like down there and back to your car. So it's really accessible to see it, and it's beautiful. Austin, Texas, the capital of Texas. It's a very youthful city full of upscale restaurants and live music. Have you ever wanted to go there?
No, not necessarily. Austin? I mean, maybe if something was there to where I would go see, then yeah. But it's not been like I want to go to Austin.
It'll be interesting at the end to see which one of these places Kevin would like to go to.
I've said a couple places that were...
Because I've got we're not done with the list yet, but I've got very specific things that I would like to see. Here's another one from the overrated list from last week. The Space Needle in Seattle, Washington. 604-foot observation tower has a rotating glass floor and a cafe and wine bar.
That's another one of those, if you're in the area, sure. But if you're not, if you're not going, I wouldn't travel to Seattle just to go see that one thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So these are like bucket list things you must see, but it's like, but I'm not going to go there just to see this.
Maybe if you're the type, which we are definitely not, that we're in RVs or something and you're driving around the country to go see all kinds of different places. I could see an RVer going to all these kind of places. But me and you, I'm never going to do that.
No. I want a hotel room, not a motel room.
I just don't want to be traveling.
I want a hotel room.
I don't mind leaving my house and going somewhere, traveling, doing my thing, and then coming back to a home, and then staying for a while, and then go traveling again, and then come back. That's the kind of traveling I like to do. I don't like to go out and drive for a month or whatever.
I tell you what though.
Some people do though.
We know RVers.
Yeah.
And they love it. They're very passionate about it. So like the people who do it well.
Oh, yeah,
and
they
they
love it.
enjoy
Yeah.
it to the fullest.
Everybody's got different ideas of fun.
Exactly. Kevin and I have that same enjoyment except for at hotel rooms.
Yeah.
But now would you consider your parents RVers
They were at one
or
time.
campers?
They were more campers. They didn't travel really far distances.
Right, so a camper I think is different than an RV person. An RV person, they actually like
Travel to different places. Yeah.
like states and states, and they're on the road for a long
Yeah.
time. Your parents just
My mom and
basically
dad-
went to campgrounds.
Yeah, Mom and Dad didn't. They just chose to take a camper to a location, stay in the camper, and do the things there, and then come back home.
And it was relatively close.
Yeah, I think the furthest they went was maybe they did go to the Daytona.
Oh, wow.
No, it wasn't Daytona, which is the other racetrack, Indianapolis. They went there for camping.
Oh, well, that's not too far
No,
away.
they camped there, and I can't think of anything else further away. I'm trying to think.
So they did not go to Florida.
No.
Okay.
It was not Daytona 500.
Indiana.
Yeah, it was Indiana.
Indiana,
Yeah.
which is pretty
Not
close.
that far away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the furthest I can think of.
See, Albuquerque. Now, this is one that I would want to do. I've never heard of this. I think it sounds awesome. Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta in New Mexico. It is the largest balloon festival in the world.
Like hot air balloon?
Yes, and it lasts 9 days.
We've seen pictures of all those balloons taken off.
It lasts 9 days. I think it would be awesome.
Be neat.
And if we
I don't know what you're supposed to do.
If we visited,
Ooh.
yes, we would ooh and ah, and we would take video and pictures.
Once they've taken off, though, what are you supposed to do?
We would go visit Walter White's house in Albuquerque. I think it would be just fascinating. I would love to do that. The Liberty Bell.
To truthfully, Breaking Bad does not make that area look very pretty.
It doesn't.
Nice. It might be nice, but
you're
that
thinking,
show,
I never want to go
that show
there.
did not make it did not put it in a positive light.
It didn't. I don't ever want to be taken out into the desert. Ever.
Well, and everything was all like
dry.
It was all run down. It was like every building, every place he went to was all, he would go to a phone booth and it had graffiti all over it, and the phone wouldn't work, and it was they didn't paint it in a good light. Like I said, I'm sure they did that on purpose. I'm sure it's beautiful, but I'm just saying that show would not make you want to go visit. That's for sure.
Yeah. But then again, there are places that are really like that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And that you have to just look beyond that.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's with some places we've already talked about. I wouldn't want to call any place out, but sometimes you have to look beyond the trash to see the beauty of some places.
That's true.
The Liberty Bell in Pennsylvania. It was made in 1751, and it's often considered a symbol of America's independence. That's one of those things in Pennsylvania. If you're going to Pennsylvania,
if you're going there,
then you go see the Liberty Bell for sure.
Yeah, but just like if you go to London, you go to Big Ben. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, that's just you do. That's one of the things
That's
you do.
what you do.
Yeah.
Yes, Charleston, South Carolina.
The general of the whole city?
Yes. South Carolina's oldest city, founded in 1670. It has cobblestone streets, horse-drawn carriages, mansions, southern food. Folly Beach is only 25 minutes away. But I'm thinking Charleston, South Carolina was one of those that was voted like one of America's most romantic cities or something like that. It is supposed to be absolutely beautiful. And they have like different colored painted houses, and I would like to visit Charleston. Hot Springs, Arkansas. They have naturally heated springs. Redwood National and State Parks in California. Didn't Ashley say she would like to visit?
Is it the painted forest? I think that's what it's called. Where all the different rocks are different colors and stuff.
Somebody will probably say that you're right.
Yep.
Redwood National and State Parks. It's 139,000 acres of the largest and tallest and oldest redwood trees in the world. They live between 500 and 700 years.
They're huge.
I would actually really like to go there.
Where you can drive through them.
Yeah.
Well, some of them you can.
I think that would be awesome. Alaska. Forests, wildlife, and glaciers. And you know what really surprised me is on this list it said the best way to see these things is from if you take a cruise.
A cruise and then a train.
A cruise. Yeah, you go on a cruise and the cruise takes you to Alaska and they said that's the best way to go is on a cruise.
There's also a really good train that has like a clear bubble window all the way down it. So you can get up there and you can sit and look out on the wilderness and stuff going by.
So do you take the cruise and then get there and then take
get
the
on
train?
the train and the train goes and comes back.
Oh, okay. Because I know on our cruise we only had a couple of hours.
No, this one stays. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not just like a.
We should do that.
It's not just like a 5 or 6 hour stop. It's like they stay for a.
That would be a lot.
That's my understanding because Bonnie was telling me that she did that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's.
I'm thinking the ship went up there and they stayed for a couple of days, so you could do whatever.
Oh, that's really neat. I would enjoy that. Sonoma, California. They're saying it's less touristy than Napa, and it has 400 wineries.
I was gonna say that if you're into wine, I was gonna say if you're into wine, I'm sure that would be awesome.
Kevin and I could care less. We don't like it. I would rather have champagne.
Whiskey.
I'm sure it's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I'd rather go on a bourbon tour.
Which is right here in our state.
Yeah, I would rather do that. I'm sure they're pretty, but I wouldn't want, if you're going to go to those places, then you get to sample wine and stuff like that. It would mean nothing, to me.
We've seen that on The Apprentice, where they go and do these wine tasting tours, and it's like I don't want to tour and taste wine. It's just not my thing.
But now the bourbon.
A lot of people are into that wine drinking. I just never was.
Crater Lake National Park in Oregon, home to America's deepest lake. It was formed by a volcano. It is 1,943 feet deep, and you can actually go swimming, which no thank you. You can go fishing. I don't want to swim in any lake.
No.
I don't think I'm a decent swimmer, but I'm not like a great swimmer. And, these people that can get out in the middle of the lake and they can keep themselves up and stuff. Either I'm swimming or I'm hanging onto the edge of the pool. Yeah, or I'm sinking. I'm not in the middle keeping myself up. I'm not that person. But now if you are that good at swimming, then you probably love to go in lakes.
Yeah, at least the lakes don't have currents and stuff.
Yes, yeah. I'm sure it's
beautiful.
beautiful.
Lakes, I always hated swimming in lakes and rivers because they're always muddy on the bottom, and I hate that feel. That mud between your toes, all slimy.
Think about
Fish poop.
In Hawaii when we go in the ocean. You feel different things.
Well, the one area you did where there was a lot of rocks. Then we learned don't go in that area. Go into the hotel area.
If you go into the hotel area, it's all sand.
It's all sand. They filled it in.
Wonderful.
It's sand. The other area is all slimy rocks.
But now when we went on the cruise to some of those islands, it was slimy.
Yeah, there was some slimy.
Mm-hmm. It was.
They had a lot of algae and
stuff. It's like
too.
This is not the same as Hawaii.
No. Of course, the Waikiki Beach is a man-made beach, so it's nice.
It's really nice. The Kentucky Derby, a thoroughbred horse race.
I'm sure it's wonderful.
A thoroughbred. We're going to talk about it. A thoroughbred horse race that's 1.25 miles. Women wear elaborate hats and men wear seersucker suits. And usually you're drinking a mint julep.
Which are disgusting, by the way.
Somebody was asking me, Frankie was asking me about the Kentucky Derby because she lives in the UK and she was wondering if it compared to some of their races in the UK. And now do they wear fancy hats and stuff like that?
They do.
Yes. The women get all kinds. You get dressed up and
the ones that are on the outside do.
Well, that's what I was going to talk about.
Yeah.
You can get. It's called the Infield. If you want to get a ticket for the Infield, it is only $122 a person.
Right. That's probably pretty cheap though.
From what I have heard, if you go to the infield, you're in a huge group of people. You don't actually get to see any of the horse. You can't see anything. You can't see the horse race at all.
They're on a big screen. You just watch a big TV screen.
You're there in the group of these people
the experience.
Who I don't think are dressed up.
No. I've seen people with the shorts and stuff.
Yeah, they're not dressed up, and frankly, from what I've heard, they're only there to get drunk.
They drink a lot.
Wasted.
They sneak in. They're not allowed to bring in alcohol, but they sneak in.
They all sneak it in. Yes, they sneak it in.
The infield. So if you never looked and don't know what a horse racetrack looks like, it's like an oval, kind of like a car racing track. It's like an oval track, and then you've got the outfield, which is the bandstands and all where you can actually see, and then the center section of that oval is the infield, and it's just a flat grassy area. Yeah, and you can't see anything. Unless you're right on that. I guess maybe you could see something on the outside edge. I'm not even sure you could.
I would never. Kevin and I, neither one of us have ever been to the Kentucky Derby.
No,
we live right here in Kentucky. Either. We've never been.
You see it better on TV.
I'm not going to spend $122 to stand in the middle of drunk people,
right? And
I can't see the race. And then the tickets, if you want to be like up in the stands, they start, from what I saw, they start at around $982, and they go. I mean, a mid-range price is $1,500 per seat.
But most people sitting in the stands,
and they go way up.
They're celebrities. They're people that own the horses. They're wealthy anyway.
They're wealthy people.
Yeah.
And
not to say regular people couldn't go to
I'm sure a lot of regular people go.
But I would think that normal people would have a hard time even getting a ticket because they're going to be all
There's
sold.
Tickets online right now.
Can you buy them?
Yeah, I've looked. That's where I'm getting these prices. You can get tickets right now.
Yeah. There's smaller fields, smaller racing fields that you can go to that don't cost anything hardly.
The Kentucky Derby, if I went,
like Keeneland would be a good example of a racetrack that is not that expensive.
Right, that's true. If I went, I would definitely want to sit in a seat. I would not be in the infield. And frankly, I just don't want to spend that much money. If I was given tickets, I would go. But I would never spend, if I have $1,500, then there's always going to be something else I would rather spend that on than to go see the horse race. That's
I guess
just
you're
me.
really big into horse racing.
Yeah, that's just personal preference. Mackinac Island in Michigan. There's only 1,000 people that live on Mackinac Island. Regular residents. Motor vehicles are outlawed.
No cars.
It has forest, wildlife, and hiking trails. And my dad and his wife Laura have been there, so you'll see pictures. I'm going to post a few pictures of. I've got a couple of them because
what was the movie?
They're not really picture takers. Somewhere in Time.
Yeah, that was you. They went to that hotel.
The Grand Hotel. Yeah. And Dad and Laura stayed at the Grand Hotel, and they ate dinner there, and they loved it. They absolutely loved it. You
have to take a boat to get to it. It's literally an island.
It's a beautiful place. It really is. And I
guess a ferry more than a boat.
They have lots of shops. They have the fudge, the Mackinac Island fudge, and if you look up videos, you'll see people renting bicycles, and they have
horse-drawn carriages.
Yes. I think that would be a very relaxing vacation.
You would think so.
I think it would be a very relaxing, getting away from everything. It would be nice. Santa Monica, California. We talked about the Santa Monica Pier last week. This is saying just Santa Monica, California in general. They're saying it has the beach, you have the amusement park rides, you have the shops, you have lots of places to eat. They're saying you should go. The Space Center in Houston.
That'd be cool if you're into space and science and stuff like that.
Now, didn't you go to...
I went to Kennedy Space Center.
In Florida?
Yeah, in Florida.
Well, I don't understand. Why would the Space Center in Houston be on here and not the Space Center in Florida?
Because they launch a lot from Florida.
It says the official visitor center of NASA's Johnson Space Center and home of NASA mission control and astronaut training. They have more than 400 space artifacts. And then they also have exhibits that come and go.
Right. I'm pretty, Kennedy has a bunch of that stuff.
Yeah, but I'm wondering why I wonder why did the Space Center in Houston make the list of places you have to see and not Kennedy?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
So you've been there.
I've been to Kennedy.
But he can't prove it.
I think Mom did have some pictures of me at Kennedy next to astronauts and the control room and stuff like that.
Well, I'll look then.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had.
If I find pictures, we'll insert them because I scanned every single picture that your mother had of you. I scanned them into my computer. Yeah. So we'll see if I can find them.
I'm pretty sure we've got some.
Okay, good.
Because there's an astronaut with a stick up his butt, and we always thought that was hilarious. Because it's holding the suit up. Yeah, but he looked like an astronaut with a stick up his butt. It's like, that astronaut's got a stick up his butt. You know, as an 8-year-old, you love that kind of stuff. Or 10 or whatever.
I'm laughing at it now. Yeah. So, Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado. 355 miles of hiking trails, scenic drives, and 50 lakes.
You go ahead. I'm gonna start looking at this.
Okay, and then the last place on the list is so funny to me. Alcatraz Island in San Francisco.
That's a pretty popular place to go.
It was developed as a Civil War fortress, followed by a military prison and federal prison until 1963. What's funny about this is I've always thought I would want to go to Alcatraz Island too and go to San Francisco. And you know, like that, it's a famous park where the Full House, like where in the Full House TV show, that the houses, the rows of houses, you know, and to drive to ride on the cable car, you know, Rice-A-Roni, the San Francisco treat, and to go on the hills, and I've just always thought it would be fun. But then what I found funny that they put this Alcatraz on what you need to see, places you need to see, is because our friend Josh, that's one of the places I said, hey, did you all ever go anywhere that you wish you hadn't have? And he said he found it very underwhelming.
Which is probably the nice way of saying it was not a good place to go.
Yeah, he didn't think it was worth it. Because I always thought it would be
You are going to a prison.
I know. I told him, I said, maybe.
I've been to a prison. It's not that fun.
I said,
I didn't visit a prison. I wasn't in prison. I did.
Yeah, let's clarify that.
I did computer work in a prison.
I told him, I told Josh, I said, maybe if Clint Eastwood had been there, it would have been better.
Or what was the Sean Connery was in? Was that called The Rock?
Oh gosh, I haven't seen that in forever.
Yeah, it seemed like I caught that on TV, just a little bit of it.
Okay, so now I would like to ask Kevin, out of all these places,
some of the places I would actually go.
You can't pick a place we've already been.
Okay.
That's the rule.
All right.
It has to be a new place. Okay, where would you go?
I'm thinking French Quarter, New Orleans. I'd probably go there just for the food.
For the beignet.
I'd be there for the food.
Okay, that's okay. A lot of people travel for food. I mean, when we travel, we eat.
Well, and they're saying like the Pike Place Market in Seattle. It's a food lover's dream. Sounds cool. I'd go there to eat. The Big Sur in California is with the beach. No, that wasn't it. South Beach in Florida with the beaches and stuff. That would be cool. I would like that.
Because Big Sur's in California.
Yeah,
South Beach is
that's undeveloped beaches though. Yes. So like you can't go on the beach there. I guess.
So you'd like to go to South Beach?
Yeah, to where you can go kind of walk on the beach and stuff. That'd be cool. I'm looking.
No, you're fine.
New York would be okay. I tell you what, just like any big city, like London freaks me out. It still freaks me out, even though I've been there, 3 times now?
I think we've been 3 times.
So, big cities freak me out. Even if it's a United States big city, it's still a big city. And you've got the touristy places, that's fine. But you got to get to all those different places that are spread out.
But
that's what I freak out about.
They have bus tours.
Yeah, I know,
you're always going to be able to get a bus tour.
That's what freaks me out.
It does. It freaks him out. He would do it though.
Yeah, because I'm going to have to plan it because she's just going along for the ride. Where are we going now?
I sit there. What I told somebody last week. We always plan together.
We do. We plan out the places
and we plan out the days. We plan out where we want to go. We plan out. Okay, we're gonna start out here. We're gonna be in this area. What are the restaurants?
Yeah,
in
what
this
restaurants
area?
are we gonna go to?
What grocery stores? Because you know it's us. We're looking for food.
Or what attractions?
What attractions are in this area? And we plan out the whole day. Now,
and sometimes it doesn't work out. Just like that surgery in London. We were going to go to the surgery and they were closed.
Well, and that's the thing is you really need to pay attention to if you're going to do that,
Hours,
the days that they're open and closed, the hours that they're open and closed.
Some places are open like Tuesday through Sunday and they're closed on Monday.
And in London, that's one of those cities where everything closes early. You would think.
Well, the bars and stuff are open, but the clubs.
But like places like museums and stuff like that,
places.
where you're thinking, oh, if they stayed open later, they could make so much more money. These places because. And just stores on Sunday and stuff like that. It's just surprising because you're thinking they could be getting so much more money if they would just stay open, and they just don't. They just don't do that. So you just need to, when you're planning things out, you need to be very aware of the times and stuff. Also, I wouldn't want anybody to think that we're very rigid. Like a lot of people will say, I don't want to have a plan. I'm anti-plan. If you're anti-plan, you're gonna miss out because there's gonna be things.
Well, you're gonna spend a lot of time running around to different places and miss out.
You're gonna spend a lot of time trying to figure out, where do you want to go? I don't know. Where do you want to go? Well, where do you want to go? And you might, whereas like if you find a cluster of 5 things to visit in this one area, if you haven't planned it out, you could visit this area and then travel to this area and not realize, oh no, this was up here. We should have stayed up here. So, you have to think about those things.
We've always tried to do okay, we know we're going to be walking from this train station to this area. What's between here and there? That's where we kind of like go all of our plan is if we see something that's like, oh, let's go in here and look around, So we're
not rigid. Like if something doesn't work out or something times change or whatever, it's okay.
Yeah, like the surgery was closed. We just went and did something else.
We did something else.
Mackinac Island, I wouldn't mind doing that once, I guess. And any of the Space Center type stuff, I would do those. Yeah.
Okay, I had to change the battery, so if it looks a little different, that's why. So you said you would want to visit just Mackinac Island and the Space Center.
Yeah, I said other places.
I know, I'm trying to remember.
The French Quarter, I would go there.
You said the French Quarter. Did you say you would visit New York or no?
I said I would visit New York, but I would want to do like some kind of tour or day thing or something. I don't know. I'm sure once you got there and started doing things, you'd be fine. But yeah.
Okay.
Something that relieves the stress. And Tammy took out my limitation of going someplace I would go, but I would always go to Disney. Disney's one of those safe places you go. You stay there, they take care of everything, and then you leave. You don't have to do anything. If I could have every vacation like that, that's how I would do it.
See, I would not recommend Disney to anybody right now because I think it's too crowded.
Yeah, it is way too crowded.
I think it's too crowded. And
even in the uncrowded,
expensive.
in the less crowded times, they're very crowded.
That's why I wouldn't recommend it. And
it may not ever go back.
It surprises me that you would want to go there because that we spent.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
$10,000.
No, it would be
literally.
It would be more. Not traveling. I wouldn't want to travel down there and then buy the tickets and all that stuff. I think it would be more if I lived in the area and you could just drive to it, and you bought like season tickets and you're spending the money. I don't know if I'd even do that because it would be so expensive.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you have that kind of money, for goodness sakes, go someplace else because
that's true. You could take the trip to anywhere.
Yeah, it's just too expensive.
I enjoy Disney though. Like I said, if I could have any vacation where I just went there and they took care of everything. I like those kind of trips.
You're right.
Like when we did our bus trip around Scotland and stuff, I like that. We got on the bus and they told us where we were going and we did it and that was it. We didn't have to worry about anything.
Well, somebody said they always get a travel agent. And the travel agent will tell you the best times to go when it's not going to be as crowded. Although Disney's crowded all the time now.
Yeah.
It's all the time. We've never needed a travel agent.
No.
We've always, and it does, I know it doesn't cost you any more. It absolutely doesn't. But I just like being in control of my own stuff.
Yeah, and I always worry, and this may not be true at all. I'm just speaking from what I think. It always seems like the travel agent's always going to have like a venue that they're going to push. Like, oh, if you're going here, go to this place, because they have to be making their money. So they're booking tickets places. They're getting kickbacks from those places, or they wouldn't be doing it. You can't do something for free. So they're getting money somehow.
Somehow they're getting their money. Yeah.
So my thing is, the reason I say that is because we've been on these bus tours, and every one of them are the same. They stop at these little places that are 100% tourist traps.
Yes, they've made deals. The people with the bus company have made deals.
Yeah, we're going to bring our buses here for whatever they're going to do. Whatever, I don't know if they get money, if they pay them a monthly fee. I don't know what they get out of it.
They're getting something because they're bringing a whole bus full of people to this one little shop, when they could have taken you right down the street and you could have had a whole town of places to choose from. They're taking you to this one shop because when you spend so much money in there, they get a kickback from it, for sure. So Kevin's thinking that the travel agent, it's the same thing, that somehow
they have to be making their money. I mean, you got if they're not charging you, they're getting their money somehow.
They're getting it somehow. Yeah, we don't know how. But anyway, just besides that though, we've just like being in control.
Yeah, we just plan our own stuff.
Yeah. But the places that I would like to go, almost none of them match with Kevin, of course.
No, I'm just thinking I really don't want to go to like outdoorsy, like hiking and stuff like that. Those are the places I really wouldn't want to go.
I would like to go to Washington, D.C. I said that last week.
Yeah,
I would like to see the monuments.
That'd be okay. I don't have a problem with going to that.
Yeah, I don't know when I would go, but I would like to go. I would also like to go to that balloon fiesta in New Mexico. The Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta.
That'd be okay.
I think that would be awesome.
I think that would probably have a lot of vendors and stuff there.
I do too. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
I would like to go to Charleston, South Carolina, which is not far from us. We went to, when we saw Andrew graduate from Paris Island, we stayed right there in Beaufort, South Carolina. And so I don't know where Charleston is from Beaufort, but I would like to go to Charleston.
It's not like we drove by Charleston. I could be wrong.
Alaska, I would do the cruise.
I would do Alaska.
I would go on the cruise.
As long as they're setting up a tour for me where I don't have to think about it.
Yeah, because we could go on the cruise.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. As long as they're doing the stuff for me.
I would do that in a heartbeat. Mackinac Island, I'll match with you. I would do Mackinac Island. And
as long as they have internet, I'd be fine.
And I would like the Space Center in Houston. Those were my top places.
Yeah, I would do that one too.
Yeah, the Space Center, I said.
Or Kennedy. Kennedy was very nice too.
I would like to know why they chose this Space Center over Kennedy. It's not that I think highly of Kennedy. I've never been to Kennedy. I'm just genuinely curious, just like with Disneyland and Disney World. Why would you pick one or the other? There's specific reasons people have for everything, and they didn't list the reason that they chose one over the other.
Maybe Houston's bigger or something.
I don't know. It might be, or it might be more friendly to the public, or so it might be better admittance prices or something like that. I don't know. But just like in last week's video, you'll have to tell us, have you visited any of these places? I know a lot of you travel extensively. I'm impressed. And so you'll have to let us know which of these places.
Or what's your go-to place that we didn't mention that you have to go visit?
Yeah, is there, some people go, and this is why I wouldn't want, some people do the DVC, or Disney Vacation Club. This is why I wouldn't want to do the Disney Vacation Club, because you're paying a lot of money. So where are you going? Every single time you get to go on vacation, you're going to go to Disney, which means you're not going to go to...
Yeah, but the Disney Vacation Club places everywhere.
Yes, I realize
Yeah.
that.
But you
But
could go to Hawaii and stay there.
you could, but it still is Disney.
It's still Disney themed. Yes, it's
Yes,
very much
it's
so.
still Disney. So I've always thought I wouldn't want to do that because, well, you're not going to be going to Wyoming.
Right.
You're not going to be going to.
Might have a Disney vacation club in Wyoming. Maybe.
I doubt it.
I know they have one in Africa. They have a Disney African Safari that's part of the vacation club because they showed it on the advertisement for it.
They have a Disney vacation club in Africa.
Yeah, that's safari you could take in Africa. I'm almost positive somebody that's in it. You can.
Oh, that would be cool.
I just know that I saw that as part of their ad showing you could go on a safari.
Are you sure it wasn't
No,
at
no,
the
no,
actual
no.
park?
No, it was actually in Africa.
Animal Kingdom. It's an Animal
It's
Kingdom.
not-
You
it's
could
not
go
the
on
Animal
the
Kingdom
safari at
safari.
Animal Kingdom. But that's why I've never wanted to do the vacation club.
Plus, it's really expensive.
Plus, it's really, really, really expensive. Exactly. And I'm thinking, well, you might have a year where you don't want to go there. You might want to travel over to Wales or someplace, and then you're not using. So you've paid all this money, and then you're not using.
I also
it.
don't think that includes a lot of stuff like the travel to get there and all that.
Oh, of
That's not
course
part
not.
of it at all.
Of course
so,
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're paying all this money, and you have to still get there, and you still have to
Yeah.
buy things and stuff like that.
But I know, like Kevin mentioned Disney, and it's an easy vacation.
It is easy.
When I was growing up, the easy vacation was Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. It was the easy. Mom and Dad knew how to get there. They knew what they liked to do. They knew where they liked to
It's safe.
stay in different places. It was safe because it was familiar and they were used to it. So if you have your spot, that would be fun to find out. If you have a place you go every single year and you wouldn't want to miss it, that'd be a lot of fun to hear about. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next week.